The OnyxShow.
Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of the OnyxShow. And today we are discussing Belovedism. The ladies took their turn and they shared their thoughts and ideas. Today we have the guys here to also have their take on the same topic. But we believe you enjoy our prior episodes. If you have any comments, any questions, don't hesitate. Just drop them in our comment box. Keep following us on all our social media platforms, and we have counselors also on standby to attend to your needs. Before we continue, we take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The OnyxShow.
Yo, buddy.
Hey, Chris.
I didn't hear paste brush my teeth.
And today I pan out.
I'm wrong, quite electricity.
You messed up, oh. You did my washroom. Go clean. Go clean.
Hey! So, buddy, why are you aggressively brushing your hair with this pink mirror? Why are you going to?
What am I going to say? So I cannot look nice on Sunday. What am I going to say?
Ganani, ask you a question and you're answering with a question.
See, my guy, I dey go church.
Yo! Finally, after all my attempts to invite you to church, they have been praying for this day.
You know what, chill out. I'm not going to your church.
Oh, so you are going to your church? I told you that the way you are good with the keyboard, you definitely go back to play. You see, there is hope for backsliders if they don't give up.
What is your problem?
Oh,
See, I have been invited to one of your piano pieces. And that's where I'm going to.
by the way,
How do I look?
on point.
Is the trousers okay? Is it too
Oh,
tight?
no, it's not too tight.
Can you see the line? Can she see the
It's
line?
on point.
Can you see the line? Can you see the line?
But I hope it's not what I'm thinking.
What are you thinking?
So upon all what you took a fiat to, you done here. The washing, the cooking, and the making out of the hair.
What? Yo, you be God. So why they judge me? And you're talking as if she didn't spend my money. The outing, the presents I got her. I mean, as a matter of fact, we all understood that we are not a match for marriage.
Afe, hey, player. So no more Coca-Cola shaved. No more natural hair. No more flawless skin, girlfriend. Hey,
See, may I tell you something? This particular girl, she's called Beauty with Brain. Baby. See, the girl, she didn't medical school. She didn't fit hear this. She not be joke, my guy. She not be joke.
how did you meet her?
They carried the last Wednesday I talked to, said they go the mall. Yes. So as I catch the mall, you know my favorite too.
Grapes.
Exactly. So they go pick the grapes now. So as I hold the thing, those some also hold down. So Mr. I think I do you I think I do you because you are capable of doing that. So as I hold the thing now, I wish the person also hold down. So I look up, Jack, that be where I can say love at first sight day. So as I look up, when we get eyeball to eyeball, Master, I smile. And she smiled back, boy. We exchanged contact, and I mean, afterwards we have been talking.
Hey,
Charlie,
this one, dear. Let's be telling the Bella.
I said how I could meet her. Then she told me I can only come to her service to see her. Apart from church, I can't see anywhere.
Hey,
Charlie, this girl, she's not like those. I mean, slave queens, but more fair. It's absolutely not here. See, sometimes they see I'm creepy, but I mean, well, I have to fight her.
this shoddy has been able to get you a player to attend church.
You,
I hope to see how it ends.
I dey shock you. It not be your church when they talk say processing edition. It not be your anthem.
Go on, anthem.
Yes. wherever she is, please, wherever you are, I'm one of those nations. Please, possess me. Possess me. See, I can make you possess me.
Hey!
I am ever ready. Please possess me.
So, sake of shoddy with the attend church, what is the aim? Buddy, you just the one use them. Or you don't want marry him?
I can't tell. Jesus will tell at the end of the day.
You can tell.
Jesus will tell. Jesus will tell at the end of the day. Jesus will tell. Charlie, should you call me? Yes, hello. Yes, yeah. Oh yes, I'll pick you up soon. Yes, please. Don't worry. I'll chauffeur you around the whole world today. Yes. Okay, thank you.
Hey, buddy!
Yes! Yes! Hey, yes! Today. Oh, who's like that? We share big man things. She wanna run with the big boys.
The Onyx Show.
Welcome back. As I indicated earlier on, we are discussing Belovedism, and I have here with me.
I'm Alexander Kumsin. I'm a research officer in the government civil service with the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice. I am married and I've been married for 6 years.
And
yeah, well, I'm Pierre Collins, an alumnus from University of Ghana, and I'm also running a Christian NGO, the Haven of Wisdom International. We are into humanitarian works, evangelism, and also leadership programs. Yeah.
And I'm your host for today, and I'm Swin, a staff of KPMG, alumnus of UDS, Navrongo campus, to be precise, a member of Escop Zena Foundation, an NGO. We are into educational and health outreach. Belovedism, what is your take?
All right, so I believe that before we can even move into the details, we have to understand the term itself. And since it's a Christian program, we have to take it from a Christian perspective. So Belovedism, from Matthew chapter 17, verse 5, we realize that the voice of God spoke when Jesus Christ was with his disciples on the mountain. And the voice says that, "This is my beloved son, in whom I'm well pleased." Now we can take certain things over there. When someone is your beloved, it's someone that you can listen to, someone that you cherish so much. Do you get it? Yeah. So right from the onset of Christianity, we understood that Belovedism is scriptural. So as we are discussing this issue, we believe that it is something scriptural, and as every believer of the gospel, as Christians, we should take this particular subject very seriously. So I believe that my friend can also add to whatever.
Thank you very much, Collins. So is it the same, impunity and Belovedism? Is it the same?
So in my opinion, I think that generally impunity, relationship, dating is getting corrupted with the world. And if we are not careful as believers, we will mix up with it and then the whole thing will be messed up. So the church has this Belovedism as a unique word, trying to teach the youth and the singles in the church to appreciate the fact that you can be dating or you can be in a relationship, you can have beloved and not sin and not engage in fornication and not engage in some things that are not acceptable in the church. Because definitely before two people come together and get into the institution of marriage, you need to work together, you need to study one another, you need to plan and even prepare for your marriage, which we call courtship. So I think that Belovedism is not bad on its own, but it should be distinct from impunity, so that the corruption of the world doesn't enter into the church, such that we educate our young Christian singles to appreciate that. Don't just ask a lady out and let her become your beloved. Work with friends, many female friends, study them, and select one that you believe from your heart that you will marry. Then you propose to that person, and you don't propose a relationship, you propose marriage, and work with that person, preparing and planning for the marriage, so that you don't get tempted. You don't go out in a long 5 years, 6 years, coming to watch for me, cooking for me, and all those things doesn't come in. So we have to make sure that Belovedism is set out with its distinct qualities, distinct characteristics, so that it doesn't mix up with impunity or relationship or dating as the world has it.
I just want to add a footnote. What my brother is saying is very, very key, because before we can even understand anything, the concepts are very, very important. What are into this Belovedism that we are talking about? the church has to bring out the principles, the lay down procedures, so that if we are entering into it, if I'm calling someone my beloved, I know that I'm calling him or her beloved because it is in a Christian perspective, and those strings attached, washing clothes, coming to sleep over, doing this, buying this for me and all that shouldn't be entertained. Do you get it? Yeah. So I believe that the church has to encourage that, and every church has to do that. Every church has to do that.
But we believe and understand that body no be firewood, and you can't put also petrol by fire. It won't work. So how do we handle that? Because we are human, we have feelings, we have emotions.
That's why it's important that we don't go through the Belovedism for long. Maximum 2 years, at most. If possible, a year and a half. And during the Belovedism, we should be careful. You don't visit each other after 6 p.m. It shouldn't be so strict, but at least you yourself should have your own guiding principles. I'll use myself as a personal example. When my wife was my beloved then, I used to stay alone. So when she visits me, we sit outside so that everyone passing can see her. No, you see, you put the brakes on yourself.
Exactly.
I'm human.
Yeah.
If we are inside and we are alone, anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Exactly.
Even though we sit outside, when it's getting dark, around 5, we go to her place. Because at her place, her parents are there, her siblings are there, everyone is there, and nothing bad can happen. So you yourself have to be conscious of the fact that you are not a firewood and you won't want to get bent. So you try as much as possible to put brakes on yourself during that relationship, and you don't do the Belovedism for long.
Exactly. And I think that it all boils down to the fact that you have to be disciplined. You see, when Paul was teaching the church, he told them that I even subject my body so that even after preaching the gospel to you, me myself, I wouldn't be a castaway. So we have to understand that as we are humans, body no be firewood, we all understand that. So you have to set your values. As a man, you have to get values for yourself. So as my brother was saying, you shouldn't visit her in the evening. Don't be in enclosed areas where things can just trigger. Do you get it? So you have to set values, and also with a time frame, it shouldn't be long, because as time elapses, character always comes out through time.
Yeah.
Time reveals character. Do you get it? So as time elapses, probably you might be tempted to do certain things that are not godly. So it has to be something brief but very effective, and from a Christian perspective. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I would also want to add that during the period of Belovedism, that's the time you get to know one another. So your conversation should not be centered on amorous things. It should be centered on getting to understand your past. You should know your partner, where he grew up from, because understanding your partner during that period helps in the marriage. You get to know how to relate with your partner. So that's not the time to be talking about telenovelas that have those obscene scenes and those things. No. Talk about yourselves. Talk about the Bible. Pray together. Do things that are healthy, so that even within that short period, nothing untoward happens.
Thank you all for your submission. To you out there, especially our church leaders, the way we have procedures and documents for lay leadership schools, discipleship, and new convert class, we put it out there, and we are beseeching you all by the mercies of God that you also go up or down on your knees, back into your rooms, meet with the leadership of the churches, and also draw up a guideline, a foundation, something for we the youth also to use in this day and era for our relationships we have with our opposite sex, as we've termed it, Belovedism. So we pause here and we go for a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
The Onyx Show.
Rema, what on earth are you looking for?
My devotional.
Which devotional?
Streams of living water. I left it on the bed this morning. I can't find it.
Why stress yourself when you can get one on the Pentecost Youth app?
Really?
Really? Download or update the Pentecost Youth app and enjoy the Streams of Living Waters devotion guide. Get closer to God in every way.
Download or update the Pentecost Youth app today to enjoy amazing features. The Onyx Show.
Welcome back. It's getting exciting and interesting. You are not left out. Keep dropping your questions and comments in our chat box and we will attend to you. Guys, so in this day and era, is it necessary to have a beloved? Is it binding? Like the way I have to go to school, we have a structure, but is it compulsory?
Oh, I wouldn't say compulsory, but I would say it's necessary. It's necessary in the sense that if you are planning of marrying, then it's a necessity for you, because before you can even enter into the marriage, you have to know the person, and that is the stage where you study the person, you know his weaknesses and all that, and also studying the background, the orientation of the person, how the person thinks, because you are going to live with this person for a very long time. I mean, it's a lifetime something. It's not just a short business. It's a lifetime business. Marriage is a lifetime business. So that is a time that you have to study the person, know how the person thinks, know how the person reacts to certain things in life, how the person can act, the vision that the person has. You have to study that from the parentage side. You have to know all these things, because sometimes you enter into a family, then you realize that there is this particular kind of disease, this particular kind of illness. So that's the time that you can deal with it. If it is spiritual, you deal with it spiritual. If it is intellectually, you deal with that. So belovedism is very, very key. We have to know that we are living in a world where things don't just happen. You have to act on certain things before you can have a peaceful life. So I believe that it is something that we have to embrace.
Can this all be captured within 3 months, 6 months, a year and a half? Because we understand that for someone to be good and perfect at something, you need maximum 2 years to capture something, especially when you want to learn a language. You need constant rehearsals and practice for 2 years. So if I want to be with someone, and I have to know the person, the family tree, what the family is about, the person's attitude, what puts the person off and on. 6 months, a year, is it possible?
Okay, so the fact of the matter is that you can never know fully about a person that you are dating. I've been married over 6 years. We dated before marriage. Even now, I can't say I know my wife fully. So I think that we shouldn't focus on trying to know everything. As I said, before the dating, before the belovedism, you should be friends. So that's the time you get to know basic things about one another and you make that decision. When you make that decision, it should mean that it is a time that you are ready to get married within the shortest possible time. I don't think it's advisable to put, let's say, 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or any timelines. People have peculiar situations. But generally, it shouldn't be too long, because getting it going on for so long breeds so many other things. There are guys who may just find somebody else more attractive and come up with an excuse and break the relationship. A whole lot of mess can come out. It is important that by the time you are saying that you should be my beloved, you should be ready to get married within the shortest possible time. And then use the belovedism period very profitably. Use it in prayer, use it to study one another, use it, as my brother said, in dealing with issues in your backgrounds before you move into the marriage. So basically, I think that there shouldn't be any fixed timelines, but it shouldn't also drag on so unduly, because it comes with its own vices and its own issues.
It shouldn't drag like a degree program.
It shouldn't be it shouldn't be like a medical school, 7 years. At all, it shouldn't be.
Yeah. So with that, I also have something to talk about with a timeline. We also have certain people that they were able to date for, let's say, 8 years before getting married, and they are happily married. So as to say, going for a timeline, it shouldn't be compulsory, but we also have some people that they can also break the rules. To any rule, there's an exception. So we have some people, probably maybe due to certain circumstances, maybe financially the man wasn't stable, so the lady also loved the guy, so he has to wait for the guy. And if you truly love the person, why not? You can wait for him. If it's 2 years, 3 years, you can still wait for him, because we have people who waited for 8 years, even 10 years, and they finally got married.
Don't worry, Jacob waited for 14 years, so it's possible.
Exactly.
Yeah, he waited for 14
but
years.
I believe that as a man, if you are stable, if everything is moving on well, the lady is also stable. Why not? You shouldn't prolong certain things. You should just move on. And
You know, there is this bit about friendship. How do you classify that one? Or how do I exclude my beloved kind of friendship from my colleague friendship?
So generally, your beloved should be your friend even before you get to that stage of becoming a beloved.
Exactly.
Now, I believe that when you select a person to become your beloved, the level of friendship goes a step higher. So the commitment to one another becomes a little more than it used to be at the friendship stage. But that does not mean that we should abuse it. It shouldn't get to the stage where you go to wash for one another, cook for one another, start sending momo to one another. No, there shouldn't be any compulsion in it. It's about communication, it's about understanding one another and helping where you can. No strict strings attached, and because you didn't come and do this for me, you don't love me. No, we shouldn't get to that level. We should feel free, get to know one another, communicate as often as possible during that period. Communication is key. How you feel, how you want to be understood. That's the time to talk about it. So it's a period that must be used very fruitfully.
See, no strings attached. But, you know, we find ourselves in a world where your beloved happens to be in Takrady working. And you are here, maybe you find yourself in Kumasi also working. And if there is no visit within maybe a period of 3 months, it is likely the lady will tell you that you don't care enough. Because with my 3 months stay in Takrady, you never bothered to visit me. With the current happenings in our world. So how then do you also fix that in such a friendship situation that you have someone as your beloved? How will you make that person understand that it's not always for me to visit you during a particular period, and even if I don't do it, it doesn't mean I don't love you?
Yeah, this is a very important question. Then I believe that it stems from long-term relationship. But I believe that with this whole issue of belovedism, before you can even enter, I think that the person has to be a bit closer to you than you might think. So let's say you are in Accra here, and you are now entering into that concept. It wouldn't be advisable to find someone, let's say in Germany or let's say in Accra or something of that sort, because the chances of you having some sort of intimacy will be very high when you visit the person. Do you get it? So I believe that before you enter, just get a person closer to you, because a long-term relationship also comes with another set of rules and regulations and stuff like that. So if you are entering, long-term shouldn't be a choice for you. Do you get it? Yeah, because you've not even known the person and all that. But probably you've entered into that, you've known the person for some time, and maybe due to ministry or where the person traveled, for that one is fine. You can still manage because at least you've been with the person for some time now. But if you are now moving to other places, traveling and all that, for that one the intimacy will surely spark.
It will spark.
Yeah.
And I also want to add that generally, if there is a distance, it's advisable to do a day's trip, go and return. If it's not possible to do a day's trip, let your beloved find a male friend somewhere in the town that you can spend the night with. It's not advisable to spend the night with your beloved in the same room or in the same house. No. She can easily find somebody else, a brother in the church, talk to the brother that, oh, this person who is very special to me, my beloved is coming, wants to come and visit me. Can he pass the night at your end? So that after all your communication, your conversation, everything, he goes to pass the night peacefully. Probably the next day you see her again, and then you can depart. If that is not possible, it's advisable you do a day's trip. Get there as early as possible, depart before it's dark.
In this era of traffic.
Show your care. Usually love goes with a lot of sacrifices. So show that you care. At least if you are not able to do it often, but you try to do it at least once in a while, your partner should also appreciate looking at the circumstances and the constraints within which you try to make that visit. But as much as possible, don't The Bible tells us we should flee. And if you are fleeing, it's not about jogging or walking away.
It's not even flat, like it's a
vanish.
intensity. Like,
vanish from there.
Acceleration is very high.
So, it's more than Usain Bolt.
So try as much as possible that you have your breaks. You can visit, but make sure that you are visiting within a day. If you have to pass the night, make sure, and even if possible, have your conversations at open places. As I said, we used to sit in the porch. Everybody passing will see us. So nothing untoward will happen. If it's getting dark, I say, well, let's go to your end. At least her parents are there. We sit in the porch. They are in the hall watching TV, and they are looking at us. So just put your own breaks, be disciplined, and then do it in a way that will suit you and in a way that will please God, because that's more important as believers. Make sure that your belovedism pleases God. I would want to add that Joseph was a young man. In the Bible, we know of his story. He was sold into slavery. He went into a pit, went to Potiphar's house, went into prison. But Joseph kept that vision, that dream of the fact that he was going to be a great person. That dream he had in Jacob's house, in Israel's house long ago. So out of that dream, he kept himself. Joseph was tempted by Potiphar. He fled. That is the mindset that we should have as young Christian men, young Christian women. Flee from all those things so that your future will be great, so that the dream and the vision that you have, the purpose that God has for your life will come to pass. Don't think that nobody is seeing me, my mom is not here, my dad is not here, let me just do one. It will affect your future. The devil has a way of stealing your dreams and your visions. So let's try as much as possible that we stay within the context of God's word as we go out in our endeavor to become married people.
Exactly. I just want to add just one footnote. Our brother was saying flee. You see, that word is very, very serious. Why did the Bible use the word flee? You see, most of the time people turn so spiritual to the extent that, oh, Charlie, I'm spiritual, nothing is going to happen. No, the Bible never said pray. He said flee. So it's something that you have to discipline yourself. It doesn't matter your level of spirituality. Flee is flee. Exactly.
Flee means flee.
Yeah.
So it's even more advisable to avoid visits during a distance relationship if you know you can't control yourself. If you know,
I disagree with that. It's not about whether you can control yourself or not. Don't get yourself into that situation. You see, the devil is funny. Right from Genesis, the Bible introduces us to him that he's a cunning personality.
It's a creative person.
Oh, I won't do anything. By the time you realize you're attaching, by the time you realize, it comes gradual. And it will get to a point, you see, I have a funny way of describing it, that by the time a man is having erection, the blood that is supposed to be in his brain for him to think comes down to the main place and he cannot think. So don't create the situation. Just make sure that you are always aware of what can happen. Not you can control yourself or you can't control yourself. You are human.
Exactly.
So don't create the situation.
You have to understand that it is something that is natural. God placed in us that sexual desires. So I was listening to one interview with Pastor Ajinasari, Bishop Ajinasari. He was saying that from the time he started counseling, anytime he's counseling, there is someone sitting, but the space is very huge, because some lady can even go out there and say, oh, Bishop did this to me and all that. You get it? And aside that, he's also preventing anything from happening, even though he's a bishop.
Yeah.
Look at his caliber. But still,
humans. So
you probably, maybe you've not even gotten to that spiritual ladder and you are just claiming you can pray for 7 hours on a park or whatever. So no, flee means flee. Exactly. Flee.
Flee means flee. We will pause here and continue in our next episode. But don't lose touch with us. Keep your comments coming. Follow us on all our social media channels. And as I indicated, we have our counselors on standby. If you have any issues, just drop your contact and we'll reach out to you. And any issues you are having with your relationship will be available to help you. See you next time.